First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along.
When I went through basic training, they told us we was going through rifle training and everything, but instructor said, okay, there's a man coming towards you with a gun, a weapon, rifle. Said, you either shoot him or he's going to shoot you. That's the way it is. War is hell. Marshal Krause. I ended up as a Spec 4. I was in service in 54 to 56.
Okay. And what branch are you in, sir?
Army. And I was in anti-aircraft artillery, which is aircraft elimination. We controlled the north part of the United States. All aircraft that went through the area we knew about because we plotted their movement. If we didn't know who it was, we would have to send up an aircraft fighter, check him out. So it's sort of interesting work. We worked 24 hours a day. The main thing was Sault Ste. Marie, the locks between the two lakes. That was our primary concern, was protecting them against bombing or something, putting them out of commission, because that's where the iron ore would come through, go into the steel mills. We had 16 weapons, which was 75 millimeter anti-aircraft weapons, and I was lucky. I didn't have to go to the gun site. I was in headquarters, which controlled them. We would plot all aircraft on what they call a board. Every minute or two we'd get a new location of this aircraft. We'd know who it was, where he was going. One night about 11 o'clock we had an unknown aircraft come into our area. And we went on alert. Everybody went to gun sites, manned the guns. And the ranking officer was Major Drennan. We was plotting this unknown aircraft, and it was coming right into Sault Ste. Marie. And we was controlled by Horsefly, which is Detroit, Selfridge Air Force Base. And we had 3 different steps. We had preparatory fire, standby, and fire. And Horsefly started giving us standby, preparatory fire, and then they ordered us to fire. But the major that was in charge, I can still see him sitting there. He wouldn't call that order down to the gun batteries to pull the triggers. And about 2 minutes later, the plane identified itself. It was a TCA Trans-Canada airline, private plane, had 147 passengers on it. He got off course. But we were ordered to eliminate it. But the major had an idea that something was wrong. So that's how some of them accidents happen. That's when Russia was sort of building up arms. we were trying to counteract that, and we was trying to protect ourselves. We also worked with Air Force Base, Kinross Air Force Base, and if we had an unknown, they would send up a fighter jet, and he would buzz them, and if they didn't get the message to get out of the air or land or something, why, there was other tactics to eliminate the aircraft. So, like I say, it was interesting in one way and scary in another. They was just starting to develop the missile when I was in basic training and everything. A little bit later, why, the missile took over for all these different gun sites across the United States. So, another interesting little quirk is when I was going through basic training, I ended up with high enough scores on some of my tests, I didn't have to go to the second bivouac. I got to stay in the company area, and they sent me to master gunnery school. And they gave me a map of a city. I never heard of it before, but I had to lay it out for firepower by going by the elevation and the terrain and everything. So that's what I worked on. The name of the city was Saigon. A few years later, we had people over there as advisors working with the Viet Cong, Vietnamese people, and they was over there for a while, and then we started sending some troops over there, and then all of a sudden we had a lot of troops over there. But that was, I was being trained for that type of a position. I think my MOS was 16 something, but I qualified as a forward observer. And you know what that is? That's the man who goes up ahead and calls in fire. So you had to know what you were doing, because you didn't want to call a shell landing where you was at. So, but that's what my schooling was forward observer. So, and that's where I took my basic training and second aid schooling.
First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along.